Hey everyone, Disaster here, and we're going to talk about roleplay. And yes, I know there's a bad stigmatism for World of Warcraft roleplay, but hear me out. This is an introduction for those who are new to roleplay, wanting to get back into roleplay, and have never heard of roleplay, or want to actually see what the roleplay community is like. As a disclaimer, these are all of my opinions, all my advice, and these are all based on my experiences, so take everything with a grain of salt. Alright, so what in the world is roleplay? Basically, it is writing a story with other people. You create a character and you play out what they would do in the world that they are in. The most famous example of roleplay is Dungeons and Dragons, where you create a character, go on adventures, and there's a dungeon master that leads plot lines. That is not what World of Warcraft roleplay is. However, World of Warcraft roleplay does have its parallels and can be very similar. But what is World of Warcraft roleplay? So that's where you create a character in World of Warcraft and you play their experiences out. So you don't have to, basically, you don't have to acknowledge, every single quest, every single reputation is you, your character, what they're doing. But you basically pick and choose, you create your character based on what you want to do, and they change based on the things that happen. There's sometimes people who will create plot lines and put characters in them. That's a lot like Dungeons and Dragons. There's battle systems. Yeah, to sum things up, roleplay is you are your character in World of Warcraft and you write a story with other people. Now, a lot of people don't know actually how to get started in World of Warcraft roleplay, or there's no actual, like, oh, this is what you do. So pretty much what you want to do is to play with other people. You use the functions /s and /e, say and emote. Now, when you're emoting, you emote out what your character is doing. So, for example, if I'm emoting out with my character Fallen, Fallen does a little dance. She does a twirl and she summons her whelp to dance with her. Um, I would do that in /e. But if I'm having Falls say something, she'd be like, "Hey guys, what's up? Oh my god, look at that. That's really cool." Is that a fly? Wait, what were we talking about? We're talking about battle? Oh my god, I love battling. So, she'd basically be talking. So I'd use the /s function. Some people use quotation marks, some people don't. You're not required to do that. You can also use quotation marks when you're emoting to have them talk and do something at the same time. That's fine. You could do the reverse. You can have them say something and emote. So when you do that, you'd want to put them in asterisks. Now, what happens when you want to actually, let's say, talk to someone? So, say I want to talk to the player of that character and ask them a question. Hey, I really like your transmog. Or, hey, can I borrow some gold for this? Do you always have to be in character? No, not at all. When you want to talk out of character to someone, you want to use quotation, or not quotation marks, I'm so stupid. Sorry, parentheses. So you basically put in parentheses the question or whatever you want to say to the other character. Now, something a lot of people consider essential on a roleplay realm is a roleplay add-on. You don't have to have this, but a lot of people really like having it. Most roleplayers do. Um, and it's basically where you keep track of your character's name. You can have their personality, their looks, their history, anything you want to include in it. It's all up to you. Some people include a lot of information, some people include a very little amount of information. It's up to your preferences, and pretty much there's TRP3, MRP, XRP, a whole lot of them. And I'll do a later future video on how to fill out Total Roleplay 3, which is the roleplay add-on that I use. It's the one that I'm most used to. So to help people fill out profiles and get started on that, I'll also make a video. But typically, you definitely want to have those roleplay add-ons for a roleplay server. So, when you roleplay, you do want to have proper sentence structure, spelling, and grammar. Everyone's going to make a typo here and there, that's fine. But from my experience, role players are very keen on proper writing skills. If you're new, it's okay if you make many mistakes. If English isn't your first language, people will understand. People understand all the time, but you definitely want to work on that sort of thing in a roleplay community because people can get very annoyed if if people are constantly messing up and saying things like LOL or lowercase letters, or it's just common, very frequent mistakes. They're going to think that you're trolling. Now, people will use terminology in the roleplay community that you might not understand, but I will clear some of that up. Specific lingo, things like OOC. When someone says they're being OOC, they are out of character. They are not actually playing as a character right there. You should just ignore them if their character is standing there. Don't go up to them and be like, "Hey, how are you?" They're not gonna respond. They're OOC. Or if they're talking OOC out of character. IC means in character. It means that your character is physically there. And if someone interacts with you or you go to interact with someone, they'll interact back, you'll interact back, that sort of thing. There's metagaming. So that's when your character knows something that really doesn't make sense, that they shouldn't. So let's say, for example, my character walks up to another and suddenly knows their name without ever having introduced themselves. This is where roleplay profiles will give a disadvantage if people choose to metagame. How am I supposed to know your name if you've never actually given it to me in character? That wouldn't be possible in real life. You might know you as a player will know their profile to get a little taste of how they write and how their character is, but your character will not know that. So it's metagaming if you pull out information that wasn't told to you before and there's no way for you to obtain it. God modding, that is making your character actually way too overpowered for just about anyone. So if you're trying to emote out things like, oh, well, Fallen murdered the entirety of Silvermoon. Yeah, no, you can't do that. You can't one-shot other people's characters. It has to be fair. People will get really ticked off if you're playing a character that is completely over the top, overpowered, and yeah, that's pretty much it. If you're trying to summon a giant army of dragons out of the nether from nowhere and kill a bunch of people, people are going to be angry. Mary Sue, you probably heard this in regular writing too. That is when a character is absolutely perfect with no flaws whatsoever. So, a example of a Mary Sue. People have said Harry Potter is a Mary Sue, and because he's perfect and he always manages to fix the problem, it doesn't have a flaw. I'm not sure if we could find a flaw in him. Maybe we could. That's not what this video is about, but character, no flaws, absolutely perfect. That's what a Mary Sue is. Edgy. So people would call me edgy. Edgy is when your character is completely over the top, dark, and let me give a description. Demon hunters, death knights are described as really edgy, I've sacrificed everything. What have you given? Death knights. Yes, that sort of thing. My style could be considered edgy. It's supposed to be an insult. That most people use it as an insult. Some people actually call it edgy roleplay. It's basically just living on edge, being on edge, violent, dark, that sort of thing. All right, so that pretty much sums things up. That's the start of roleplay. There's so much more, but that's all I can basically fit in a short video. So, my advice for starting off, therefore, is you're not going to be perfect. You're not going to be Mark Twain on your first roleplay character. It's okay to mess up and it's okay to make mistakes. You'll always learn from them. How are you ever going to learn if you don't make mistakes? Let me tell you, my first roleplay character on World of Warcraft was a monk named Kitsune that was a half demon. So you know the word cringy? That would be an applicable insult in that case. I'm not even going to get into my actual first roleplay character on the forums. Because, not World of Warcraft forums, but other websites. No, yeah, mistakes. Do your research. So when you're trying to play a character, if you want to play an orc, for example, you're going to want to do some research on orc lore. How do orcs act? What's their history like? What's the typical dynamic in terms of their politics? How are their social structures laid out? You're going to want to put the work into it if you're wanting to create a character that's going to be taken seriously. That goes for anything, even the characters that are a bit harder to play, and I'll get into that in another video, for harder to play character, what I consider as harder to play. And you're not going to start off by posting paragraphs. If you do that, power to you, that's awesome. But if you're talking in short sentences and all of that sort of thing, you're just trying to get a feel for roleplay, that's perfectly fine. Don't let anyone tell you otherwise. Tell people that you're new if you're worried about it, by the way. You don't have to. But say in your profile, oh, hi, I'm new to roleplay. I'm just starting off. And people generally are accepting of that and they'll try to help you. That's at least that's what I hope from the roleplay community. You never know. There were all sorry, excuse me. There will always be haters. There will always be haters no matter what you do, no matter how hard you try with roleplay. You're gonna get insulted sometimes, just like with the PvE community, just like with the PvP community. People will insult your writing and it's not going to be frequent. Um, I am not frequently insulted in terms of my writing anyway. Um, if you're making constant mistakes, people might start to be salty. The community in roleplay is generally pretty nice, but there are always those, oddballs, those people who are just going to be jerks for the sake of being jerks. So, pretty much. And then have fun with roleplay. Some people like to get commissions of their characters, which is the artwork of them. They put a lot of work into their characters. They write huge backstories, and it's just a whole lot of fun. The entire purpose of roleplay is to have fun, to improve your writing, to interact with other people. So yeah, and for those who aren't interested in roleplay, please don't troll roleplayers. It's really annoying. Don't throw toys on top of us. Don't spam chat. You can be reported for that in a roleplay community. Also, if you are a roleplayer and running into that problem, report them. Right click report them for cheating or something. But if you can give a reason, say roleplay griefing. But yeah, you're not allowed to troll people on a roleplay server. So yeah, that pretty much sums things up. Oh, one more thing. So you can also voice your character. This is for things people do this in Dungeons and Dragons, but I'm sure you could do it in WoW too. So if you really want to get it in character, um, you could actually like voice them. So it's kind of hard if you are a male player playing a female, or if you're a female player playing a male. Like if I try to talk as one of my male characters, I can't take it seriously because I'm a female. But let me give you an example of my two characters interacting with each other and how you can make two characters different. All characters are typically different, but anyway. Hey, Yasilla, what's up? Oh my god, you look so good today. That's awesome. Let's get on with it, Falls. We have a lot of work to do. We've got fights to do. The Legion is still at bay, and you're sitting here talking about fashion and singing in your next concert. You're a Death Knight. What the hell are you doing? I can still be fabulous as a Death Knight. I love killing. I mean, a good party isn't anything without killing. You know what I'm saying? Gotta have streamers of blood and intestines. Okay, okay. I don't want to hear anymore. Let's just get on with it. Come on, I'm impatient. You've wasted enough time. You get distracted all the time. Just fight. That's all I want. Let's go. So, those would be my two characters, Fallen and Ysilla. Ysilla would be the annoyed paladin. Falls would be the Death Knight that's a bit out there and fun. And it just shows the stark contrast between the two characters. But yeah, I don't think I did the best job voicing them. I mean, if I had more practice on camera anyway, I can do it not on camera better. But it's fun. Role playing is a lot of fun. So yeah. Anyway, throw some personalities onto those characters. You're a creator.